Welcome back to Dubai Real Estate Philosophy. My name is Ahmed and today we are here at gorgeous Creek Harbour. This is the entire master plan of Creek Harbour. You guys can see the amazing Creek Tower in the middle. Of course, this is not the last render. They're going to change it a bit. We're going to talk about all that stuff in the presentation. But today, what I want to explain to you guys basically is where we are based on the progress of Dubai Creek Harbour. So if you follow along with me, first and foremost, if you pan over here, you can see this was the island part that is basically now complete. You can see the bridges in the middle. There was a waterway basically where they had most of the bridges are done. All this community is now finished. This was basically the island. And then if you move back, this was basically the next phases that were coming up. And if you see, there was one metro station here, there's another metro station up front. In total, there are going to be 3 metro stations that are going to be covering Creek Harbour. Why is that important? Because you guys can see this is going to be a massive community. It is just the beginning of Dubai Creek Harbour. You guys can see how much development is still left. So in my opinion, it's still a good time to get in, especially now in this launch, because we have to understand the previous launches, they were launching this portion over here. The one you see, for example, Valo, Albro, Altan, all these kind of towers that were towards the back, okay? But now, what they have done is that they have come into the front. So follow along me to the front and I'll show you where it is now. So now that we are at the front of the master plan, you guys can see this was basically the entire island. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go in first person view and explain to you exactly where the 2 towers are. So if we zoom in over here, we can see this was basically the island. We have basically cove over here. This was basically the cove. This is all pretty much complete now. And over here, if you look at these buildings, these are the buildings that are coming new. This is exactly the new buildings that are coming. And look at the best part. They are facing towards the water. And what we're going to do is that we're going to go to the plot area and we're going to show you exactly where it is. If you follow along with me to this side, basically, these are the buildings that are coming new. There are going to be units facing the water. And if you look at the units at the behind, they're going to be facing the future Icon Tower that's going to be coming. And this is the line that is basically the new launch, where you can see my finger right now. This is basically the entire line that is going to be facing. And what is this? This is basically the Ras Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary, where they have hundreds of bird species. They of course have downtown Burj Khalifa views over here. And you can see the master plan. It is going to be something that is pretty solid. This is a good opportunity because if you remember the launches at the back, those were the buildings at the back that came and they are quite back. They are closer to the metro, so they were good for investment. But if you're looking to buy for yourself, these are the units you want to be in. There are 4 towers. Let's go into basically the models of the buildings and understand a bit more. So if you walk with me again to look at another angle, if you come stand with me over here, you can see this entire row that is going to the front. This is all prime land because it is facing the water, the creek, the Ras Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary. And that is exactly where the buildings are. If you look at where my hand is right now, this is the building that is coming up and the building behind it. And if you pan towards the back, you can see the gorgeous views of the Creek Tower. So in my opinion, it really, of course, if you want to live for yourself, if you rather buy it in the front, that's great. You'll still get some solid appreciation and rental income. If you want to live for yourself, that's good as well. But I think one of the key aspects is even if you're getting a back-facing unit, that is still an excellent opportunity because once they release this tower, which they're going to, they've already announced that they're going to change this design. It's going to be a bit different than the Burj Khalifa. But the day they do announce this, believe me, the prices are going to climb very, very high, just like they did in downtown. Once they announced the Burj Khalifa, all the apartments surrounding it are having the Burj Khalifa view. Imagine going to downtown right now and trying to get something that's the Burj Khalifa view. You're going to pay a solid premium. And I have no doubt in my mind that these same units that are going to be facing the back are also going to see that amazing capital appreciation because they're going to be facing the creek or the Icon Tower as it's known now. And of course, the front, it's a water view. You can't go wrong with either. In my opinion, it's a win-win situation, something that's pretty solid to look at. So now we are at the mall. You can see this is basically Dubai Creek Harbour, Creek Bay, and Creek Haven. And these are the 4 towers that are coming. Now, what Emaar has done, and of course, if you zoom in over here, the amenities, we don't have to talk about all these things, but beautiful podium. You have access to pools, parks, all these kind of things. And similar design in Creek Haven, basically, if you look over here, they also have the nice podium and all these things. Now, what's the most important part in this launch is that these are 4 towers, and we're going to understand this more in the master plan. They have launched 1 tower of each project. One is at the front side, one is at the back side. They both have units that are going to be facing the front, which is downtown, the water, the island, and then they also have units at the back, which are going to be facing basically the creek tower. So if you are looking for residential purpose, even as an investment amount, we'll always understand water view is always where the capital appreciation is at. So I do recommend you get the front units. Of course, they are very, very tough to secure. I always like to mention, I do work with Aeon and Trisl. We are the #1 brokerage for Emaar. So we have a lot of priority when it comes to securing units. So now let's do one thing. We'll go to the plot. We'll show you guys the plot. Then we'll look at the investment analysis, and then we'll wrap this video up. So stay tuned for all of that. So now we are standing at the plot of the two new launches, Creek Haven and Creek Bay. And it really is beautiful. If you pan now, it's very unfortunate. Today is a very foggy day, but if you zoom in, you kind of can see the silhouette of the Burj Khalifa, the entire downtown skyline. And if you pan around, this is the whole island district that we've been trying to explain. And you'll see more B-roll about this. The canal, it's complete. Everything is complete. And right behind me, you can see this is the Vida Creek, which is already operational. It has been for quite a while. In front of me was basically the Cove buildings, amazing low-rise basically buildings. Now, what's most important is that obviously, just like I explained, there are going to be 4 towers over here. They've released one from the back, one from the front that are going to be facing the front. Basically the water views, Ras Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary, obviously the Dubai skyline. And behind this, where it's pretty empty now, but more or less in a couple of years down the line, there's going to be the Icon Tower, which once that news hits the public, it is definitely going to have a very solid surge in the pricing of all the units that were basically facing back. Because if you remember, we covered Creek Waters a long time ago and all these units, and we sold a couple of units in Creek Water that were facing the back. Now at that time, our clients, they were kind of suspicious because they didn't want to go. They only wanted to go for a 1-bed, which was facing back. But in my opinion, I think they're going to be pretty well sorted as well. Once that news comes out, those 1-beds are going to see massive amounts of appreciation as well. So if you want to live for yourself, this is an excellent place. They have the park over here, the Creek Beach, which is already ready. We've already covered that in other videos. There's a school, there's hospitals, there's 3 metro stations. We already covered all that at the master plan. And if you want to rent, this is why this place is so great for renting, because you can see this entire island district is already ready. It's already rented out. People are living here. People are, renting it out to tenants. It's an amazing vibe. This really is, when we say Emaar is in the business of bringing the renders to reality. Saw the renders some time back, and now we are standing in front of the reality, which is amazing. And time again, Emaar has proven that they can build it, they will build it. It's all sustainable. It's not, people keep talking about this bubble and all these things. We won't get too much into those details in this video, but this was just to show you the plot. Now, we've covered the master plan. We showed you guys the building design. We showed you guys the plot, exactly where it's going to come. We got exclusive access to the plot as well, just to show you guys the reality of where this building is, why it is such a big deal to get into this line. Because if you see from this angle and you continue all the way towards the end, you can see the Shoba projects. That's the Shoba 1 tower. And from this point where we are standing right now till the end are going to be the new launches. This is basically the new strip of land that these guys are releasing, and it's all going to be waterfront. It's all going to be Ras Al Khor views, and these are the first buildings in this strip. So it's good time, get in early, secure your units that are going to be facing the front or the Creek Tower. If you want that better value, you can get the Creek or the Icon Tower views as well. So good time, a lot of appreciation. As you can imagine, as the buildings keep coming and coming, the price is going to go on with that. So let's jump into the presentation now, where we're going to some of the numbers, some of the cash flow and all these things, and we'll wrap it up over there. All right, so stay tuned for all that. Okay, so basically now we're going to get into the presentation of Emaar, Creek Haven and Creek Bay, right? So number 1, we were at the sales center. We saw where the building is coming on the master plan. Next, we went on to the plot, which you can see in the B-roll right now. Beautiful place. Unfortunately, it was kind of foggy, so we didn't get those sweeping views of the skyline, but you can imagine how gorgeous it's going to look. And now we're going to talk about the pricing, the payment plan, why Creek Harbour is good for investors, for residents, all these things that we're going to cover, right? So number 1, what I want to show you guys basically is the master plan, right? So if we look at this master plan, basically this is where the master plan is. Amazing design first and foremost, and this is exactly where they have highlighted for Creek Bay. This is basically Creek Bay. As you guys can see, this is exactly where we were on the plot. And behind these 2 buildings, there are going to be Creek. haven. So this is basically the haven, which I'll write with an H, and then this is the bay. So the buildings that are launching, one is launching from the front, one is launching from the back. These two, this is how Emaar is basically coming up with their launch. Now, we've explained this many times. We even explained it in the beginning when we went to the sales center. But this was basically the island district. This is exactly where we were seeing, as you guys can see over here. This is where you're gonna get Burj Khalifa views, downtown views. This is of course the canal, and this is the entire island district, which is already completed. It is already sold out. If you go check out our earlier videos, I'll put some B-roll over here. We were at the Central Park. We showed the Central Park. We also showed the viewing point. You can see the Central Park and the viewing point in the B-roll right now. So, and the pedestrian bridges, of course, they have these 3 pedestrian bridges. It's a beautiful design. Again, downtown 2.0, there's not a lot of traffic. They have a very amazing tunnel system that is inside where you can go inside, park. So it really takes, Emaar learned everything they did in downtown. Not that there were a lot of mistakes, but all the things that they had. Most of the, what are the complaints we hear, right? The view is being blocked. There's too much traffic. Well, number one, there's not a lot of traffic problems because again, they have a lot of roads, they have proper parking for all these things. And number two, you're gonna see this is designed in a very weird shape. It's not like a, you know, rectangular design or a proper circular design. And there is a method to the madness. The reason they have done that is because every single building in Creek Harbour has a view. Because if you look at these buildings, see, look, this building is facing this way, this building is facing this way, this building is facing this way. And then in the middle where these buildings are, there's no building in between. So if you see, it's very well designed, right? So over here, we still have this view. And then of course, these buildings, they have views over here. They have a view over here to the park as well. It's very sophisticated, very well thought out, very well made, and it's only by Emaar, right? So there's no other developers where we don't know what kind of buildings they're gonna come with, what kind of design that they're gonna come with. It's a complete Emaar community, right? Now, moving on, we've again covered the other projects as well. We've showed the Creek Beach, okay? Now talking about this is the first metro station. They're gonna have a second metro station over here. They're gonna have a third one later on. And of course, this is the very famous, it's a bit on the downside, but this is going to be the Icon Tower that is coming up. And this is the district that was going on right now, which is called Green Gate, where you're gonna have your school, you're gonna have your hospital, you're gonna have a massive park and all these things. So no matter where you are, and as you can see, it's made into pocket communities, right? So it doesn't matter if you're on the island district, if you're in this district, there's pedestrian connectivity everywhere. You can go everywhere. There's obviously a pedestrian crossing over here. There's going to be crossings over here. It's a very well integrated community. You have access to everything. Again, I keep repeating this point. It's all about the lifestyle. So now that we have an idea, and of course, not to mention the mall is of course going to be coming over here as well. Not exactly over here. It's a bit on the lower side. We're going to talk about the mall as well that Mr. Emaar has announced. So it doesn't matter if you're looking for investment, if you want to live for yourself, this really is an excellent community. And this is where it's at right now. And in my opinion, this is a better opportunity than those two. And not that anything was wrong with those two, but they had a different advantage, right? They're closer to the metro station. So maybe if you're an investor, that is better for you, right? But if you want to live more for yourself, you might want to prefer this because you have nicer views towards the water, towards Dubai skyline and all these things. So now moving on, now that we know that there's two launches, Creek Bay is the one that is going to be in the front, Haven is the one that's going to be in the back. Let's start with the best first. We're going to talk about Creek Bay. So now we're here talking about Creek Bay. This is going to be a one-pager. Again, we've shown, you can see it in the B-roll, while we were at the viewpoint in our earlier Creek Harbour video. This is the gorgeous skyline you're going to see at the sunset. This is what we wanted to envision. Unfortunately, it was a foggy day and it was kind of in the afternoon, but we couldn't get this view. But this is exactly a view. This is not rendered. This is an actual shot from the view, and this is a similar shot you're going to get from the back. Overall, I think most people understand where Creek Harbour is. Obviously, for the people who are new on our channel, we're going to explain it a bit. It's very strategic design, very solid design. Just like we spoke about over here, you can see this is basically the Metro Blue Line. Currently in Dubai, there's only two lines that are active. As you guys can see, this is the red line, and then this is the Greek line, which comes only into here. And then there's the creek, which is basically the water gap, which they're going to make a bridge. And this is of course where Creek Harbour is. Now this is the old airport. This is going to be the new airport, and this is basically how we kind of think about Dubai every time we talk about it. This in between these two is basically where all the growth is happening. Of course, we've made multiple videos about how growth is also going to the south. Obviously as communities like Grand Polo, the Oasis, the Heights, all these guys are coming. Of course, we have Emaar South. We've made videos on all of them. If you have any ideas, the Valley, best price per square foot in my opinion. Now, this is located closer to basically downtown. As you guys can see, this is where they've highlighted Burj Khalifa is as well. So what they've done is that, again, how Emaar likes to think of it is that it is going to be, they're going to learn all the things they did from Marina, which is over here, and downtown, take all those aspects, remove all the other developers, because even in Marina, we had different developers. The views were not that good for all the buildings. Downtown, similar. Very nice, very premium stuff, but they've taken all the knowledge from that over decades of experience that Emaar has, and now they're going to put it all into their latest community, Dubai Creek Harbour. And you can see it is quite a bit larger than the existing downtown Marina, all these things. Probably not bigger than Emirates Living, but that's a very old community. But this is something that is pretty up and coming. It's a good time still to get in. You guys saw on the master plan, there still is ways of development that is left, especially after that tower is announced. Now, these are the prices, the sizes for the 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. Now, keep in mind, it is difficult to secure a unit, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. And keep in mind that this is basically the starting prices. We have to understand every time Emaar gives a price, it is always the starting price. The higher we go, the better view we have. We can expect a couple of $100,000 difference when it comes to the prices, which is pretty standard practice. Again, we have a nice, very, Emaar modern chic style design, and of course we have the payment plan. It is as usual standard Emaar 80/20 payment plan, and keep in mind that it is also construction linked, so a lot of the times and the expected completion is April 2030. You can easily basically figure out your cash flow for this project. Now, speaking about the floor plans, Emaar has a very simple floor plan. They know what works. This is exactly what they build. It's nothing fancy like Ellington or Shoba or all these guys have. Obviously, they want to differentiate. For Emaar, it's all about the community. It's all about the appreciation. It's also about the lifestyle. But not to say that doesn't mean that they have a bad floor plan. It's a pretty standard floor plan. You go in, you have your foyer for the 1 bedroom. No powder room. Keep that in mind. Of course, we have the 1 bedroom, laundry room, and a bathroom. Pretty self-explanatory. Nothing that complicated going on. For the 2 beds, again, this is a specific type. Of course, you have the balcony. You have your 2 beds. The master bedroom will have a walk-in wardrobe, and there will be a powder room, which will also be shared with the 1 bedroom as well. In our 3 beds, pretty much the same. 3 beds do come with a separate powder room as well. You can enter. There's a separate powder room for your guests, the balcony, nice kitchen design, open layout, pretty much the same for everyone. The master bedroom does come with a balcony and a walk-in wardrobe. Of course, this one also includes a maid room. Now, this is typical for a 3-bed, well, not typical for a 3-bed, but in Emaar, this is a larger site, so it does come with a maid's room and a maid's bathroom. It does come with a 1 bathroom that is shared by 2 bedrooms, and then another powder room as well. So all in all, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 bathrooms if you decide to use the maid's room as maybe like an office space or like a multiple purpose room, something like that. Now, this was for Creek Bay. Now, we're gonna talk about Creek Haven. Keep in mind, Creek Bay is the one that is at the front. Creek Haven is the one that is at the back. Now, apart from that, there's no difference. Again, that gorgeous sunset view, which you guys can get in Dubai Creek Harbour. Now, this is the promenade. Again, we've covered this. You can see in the B-roll now, where we were at the promenade. We're looking at the yachts. We're looking at the food and beverage options. It is a vibe. Creek Harbour is a very solid place to live and for rent as well. Now, the 1 beds, 2 beds, and the 3 beds over here, you guys can see the respective pricing and the sizes. Not that much of a difference. It just depends on the location of the building, the height of the building, and all these things. So you can pause the screen, get to know again that Emaar design ethos, and of course this does have the same payment plan as the Creek Bay. This will be in March of 2030. Again, respective 80/20 payment plan. So this is very standard Emaar. Now that we understood about Creek Bay, we understood about Creek Haven, we saw the plot, we saw the master plan, let's talk about Creek Harbour and some of the pointers that we have to look out for. So why Dubai Creek Harbour is a great place to live. Point number 1, premium waterfront living with serene, uninterrupted creek views. Now, this is something that is very key because as we've talked about in our videos many times, Waterfront communities do very well. They are excellent if you want to live in front by yourself. If you want to rent it out, that's excellent as well. People obviously, they like the water, and this isn't something that's artificial. It's not like an artificially made lagoon. It's not a swimmable water. This is the natural creek. Okay, so there is something to it being natural, and of course the mangroves and all these things, they are there, so it's very different. Now, access to Creek Marina, a vibrant hub for yachting and dining. Again, as you can see the B-roll now, when we were at the promenade, you guys can see the F&B options, you guys can see the yacht clubs. So for those of you who are into sailing, that's pretty solid as well. Close proximity to Ras Al Khol Wildlife Sanctuary, flamingos, nature, tranquility. In Arba, I've been there. For those of you who haven't been to the Ras Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary, it's a pretty cool place to hang out. If you you know, there's a lot of hobbyists over there, a lot of people who want to enjoy that serene thing. They got binoculars, the whole thing. It's a pretty cool thing to live close to. Now, master plan community by Emaar with world-class design and landscaping. Just like we showed you before in our Emaar video, the Central Park, the landscaping, it's all immaculate. It's perfect. You're not going to see a trim, a tree that's overgrown. You're not going to see a dying tree. Landscaping is perfect. Emaar has a sister company called Emerald. That is their facility management company. They really do take care of everything. It is picture perfect, no matter which Emaar community you're in. But of course, Dubai Creek Harbour is no exception. Now, moving on, direct views of Burj Khalifa and downtown. That is something that is getting rarer and rarer in these kind of price points. If you want to go somewhere in those kind of areas, it does get pretty high. Emaar, obviously, with their economies of scale, their communities and all these things, it's something that we can still get. Beautiful promenades, parks, and walkable waterfront paths, which we just saw in our B-roll as well. Balanced environment, you have nature, you have urban lifestyle, you have wellness and leisure combined. It is pretty solid, a very good, well-rounded community. Now, the lifestyle advantages, we've discussed many of these, but spacious 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, 1 to 3 bedroom apartments with modern layouts, which we went over. Lush green areas, central park, play zones, and family-friendly spaces, which if you see in the B-roll right now, you can see the central park, you can see the water facilities that they have as well, pools, yoga decks, wellness spaces, and active recreation. Clean, obviously, I mean, this is Dubai, so that's nothing to be surprised about, but Emaar is like extra clean, so calm, low density environment compared to downtown and Marina, which we talked about, by the way. This is a good point. Downtown and Marina, they are very saturated. They have multiple developers. There is a lot of rush. It's a very tourist and happening area, so I think now the next shift and the next phase is coming to Dubai Creek Harbour, right? Now, excellent connectivity to major roads and future Metro Blue Line. That is great as well. Close to beaches, marinas, retail, cafe, and social lifestyle zones. Ideal for families, professionals, investors seeking high quality living. Now, what is coming soon at Dubai Creek Harbour? These are all the things that are already there. They're built in front of us. We can see them already, but there are still a lot more. That is, why we believe this community is going to be pretty solid. Number one is the Dubai Square Mall. Okay, so we have the Dubai Square Mall that is coming up, and you got to research this as well. Do your own research. Mr. Mohammed Al Abar, he recently announced this, right? We have a 2.6 million square meter, right? 3 times bigger than downtown Dubai. It goes beyond retail, dining, entertainment, lifestyle, and next-gen mobility, right? Even EV-friendly interiors are planned. Now, this is something that's pretty cool. They announced this. It is a completely new concept of shopping. And it's going to be a completely new experience. Now, we're still not sure about what they're coming, but I trust Emaar, I trust Mr. Abar. They're very experienced when it comes to all these things. And if anyone's going to innovate this shopping thing, it really is going to be none other than these guys. Now, next, the mall is slated to open from 2028, making Creek Harbour a major shopping and entertainment hub. We talked about that. Dubai Metro Blue Line, okay, a new Metro Blue Line under construction. It will include a station at Creek, okay, and by the way, Emaar has taken the exclusive rights of that station. It is going to be called the Emaar station. It's going to be actually one of the tallest station designs in the world. That's something that's pretty cool as well. You can go check that fact out as well. Now, Blue Line is expected to be operational by 2029, enabling fast, easy travel to major parts of Dubai from Creek Harbour. This is excellent. Again, just like we discussed on the master plan, if you were on the older side of Creek Harbour that were closer, you might get better value, better pricing because it's a bit farther away from the water, but you have that metro line access as well, especially if you're looking to rent it out to tenants. Now, last but not least, better connectivity, which we talked about as well, large-scale retail and lifestyle amenities, strong potential for rising property value and long-term investment appeal as the area develops. These are things that are pretty no-brainer when it comes to it. We went over all the facts. So this was a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We went to the master plan. We explained the entire master plan in person. Then we saw the 2 building designs. Then we went physically on the plot, which you can see on the B-roll. Again, great stuff, great plot, great pricing, and great payment plan. Then we went over our investment analysis, some of the things that why Creek Harbour is up and coming, about the location and all these things that we discussed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Of course, as I always mention in our every video, I do work with Aeon and Trisl. It is very difficult to get units, and being the #1 Emaar brokerage for 2 years consecutively and on coming to the 3rd year as well, we do get a lot of priority. It is much more easier. So whoever you're working with, at least make sure to always check the brokerage. If the brokerage is reputable, it will always make your journey more simple. So this was a wrap. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.